everybody, my name is Tiffany. I'm the Tipsy Artist, and today we are going live to do some really cute gnomes. All right, so we're going to talk about that. I have a model inspiration here, and we're going to do a little twist on it with fall. And I've got my traceable all ready to go. And let me go ahead and talk about all of our equipment here real quick. Okay, so we have our traceable. This is on our website, tipsyartist.com. I've also got a canvas behind here. I also have graphite paper. And then here at my table in front of me, I have my paints all loaded up, ready to go. Mixing plate, and then also just a plate full of wonderful colors that I'm going to be using today. And then I've got all of my brushes. Let's talk about those real quick. So the kit comes with the mama brush and a little buddy and then a little bit. Hi, Mariah, my sister. I'm so glad you're here. Me too, I'm so glad I'm here. Every day's a miracle in the pandemic, right? All right, then we have our water. All right, and then I have a lovely rag. Hi, Shonda. Thank you so much. All right, so rag, brushes, paint, water. Did I go over everything? Oh, one more thing. I do have a colored pencil nearby because I'm going to trace for a little bit. So that's gonna be fun. And then I'm seeing some yellow letters up here. Please help me reach my star goals. All right, so here's what's happening. I just got approved, which my understanding is it's like an honor. So if you have so many followers and you have so much, like so many people interacting with you in a live way, which I do because I do live videos almost every day, and I have a lot of people that spend time with me. So Facebook has started something new to where I am allowed to have star goals. So if you want, you can help donate to the cause and help buy a star. And it is brand new. They're just now doing this. I think it's kind of like YouTube monetization, also like if I had like subscribers or something like that. So I'm trying to get a handle on it and understand it. It's kind of funny. I'm having to go over to YouTube to learn about Facebook right now. So I had to do some tutorials to understand what stars are. But basically it's a way to donate to our cause because we do have big overhead here and a big old 10,000 square foot historic building that's 100 years old. And so, yeah. So if you want to contribute to the cause, help us out, you can buy me a star. Yay! And so that's how it works. And I don't know how, I'm anxious to talk to y'all in the comments and see what you see on your end. So I don't really know how it works or what you see. So I'll have to go back and look at it later. It'll be fun. All right. Now, onward and upward with the painting. Okay, so I've got it all laid out here. Now I need to do some tracing. So this is what a traceable looks like for y'all. So I've made it super easy because we used to have templates which were awesome. Hello, Jonathan, welcome. And now I'm doing a lot more traceables because it allows me to have a lot more detail and provide a lot more for you to go ahead and trace onto the canvas. Man, okay, I already need a drink of water. I've been talking too much already. Here we go. You like my groovy music back here? This is called YouTube free music. So it's kind of like really upbeat elevator music. Super, super groovy. All right, so I had a little tickle. I think I'm okay now. Okay, so, all right, so let's talk about how we do this. So I definitely use, oh, hi Donna, welcome. So I definitely use a different colored pencil. And this is just a fun turquoise color. This way I can see where I've been when I trace, and that way I know, you know, that I've got it covered, and then I can go ahead and lift off. And you are, hello Shannon, sorry I missed you up there. It's probably drinking water. Currently painting a giraffe for a friend's baby room. Oh, that's so fun. I love that. I'm always impressed by people who can paint on big walls. I mean, I can paint too, but, and I do paint sometimes on big walls, but not very often. It's kind of like a whole different animal, that thing. All right. Man, I'm thinking Not real good timing to have a tickle in your throat as soon as you start a live video on Facebook. Wow. It's like, go away, little tickle in my throat. So it's like I have not had this all morning, and then I go live and I'm like, what? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start the outlining process. I have a pickup that comes behind these sweet little gnomes here. And I think the original model that I posted online was super, super busy. So I did kind of simplify it a little bit more for beginners. So the first one had a lot of detail in it. So I backed off a little bit because I didn't want y'all to be painting for a week on one thing. So this is going to be a lot simpler and easy to follow. And I just love the little gnome faces, very simple, just a real cute little big nose right in the center. And then apparently this is the little dude gnome, since he's got a big old beard. And then this is the girly gnome, since she's got little pigtails. Actually, these are not pigtails. What are these? You know what these remind me of? These remind me of long, elongated, curvy. Remember that show, That Girl? That's gonna tell you how old I am. I was really little when that was on. And my mom looks just like her. It's weird. My mom looks just like Marlo Thomas, who is the star of That Girl. If I have the show right, if I'm doing this right, I don't know. Somebody out there, if you know about what I'm talking about, you can correct me if I have it wrong. I think that's right, though. But she had that really cute hair that flipped up on the ends. And everywhere my mom went, everybody always told her she looked like Marlo Thomas. Well, actually, they didn't always remember her name, so they'd go, ooh, you're that girl. Which sounds kind of funny, like you could be any girl, but at that time, everybody knew about that show. That was back in the day when we all used to have one TV in the living room. Hi, Larry. You might know the answer to this question. I'm trying to think about that show called That Girl that was on when I was a little girl, and everybody always told my mother that she looked like her, Marlo Thomas. Do I have the details right? See if you know that show. Yeah, if you're too young, you're just over there going, I have no idea what she's talking about. So, which is okay. It's okay to be young. I don't even really remember the show. I just remember that the lady looked just like my mom. And that she had really cute hair that would flip up on the ends. All right, still just tracing away. Hi, Megan. Again, this is that first stage. Well, I'm off the canvas there, so that won't even do any good. Tracing nothingness, way to go. This is the little bumper on the pickup truck. Put a cute little heart here right in the center. It's a weird noise up there. Thought it sounded like a tiger growling, like I was like Exotic Joe instead of Utopia Joe was out in the backyard. I think it's just furniture moving. Okay, apparently we have furniture moving. see, I'm almost done, I think. I'll do a little lift and check here in a second to see my progress. Oh, I still have leaves over here. Okay, so that's the beauty of using a different color pencil. You can take a quick glance. The most part, it helps quite a bit. Sometimes you might miss a few things, but you can lift off and kind of check your work a little bit. All right, so I think I've got everything. All right, so yay, that's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it off. There it is, all set there. All right, so now what I like to do is I like to go ahead and do a Sharpie outline of this so that you can see it really well. So you can see it really well and then I don't lose my work. Oh, and I see a line I forgot. It's okay, I can fill that in. There it is, window line. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and take my Sharpie. See, I definitely have everything in the foreground that I want, so that's good. I won't have to worry about lines coming behind other lines. So let's firm this up a little bit. To me, I really prefer this method. It helps me see everything really well. Plus, I just prefer the style of it. However, if you like the softer lines and a softer look with your painting, then you do not have to do this step. You can just leave it more like a soft pencil. And then you'll definitely get those softer lines and a softer look with your painting. So both are very beautiful. It just really kind of depends on what you like. Yeah, see, cute little pumpkin. And see, y'all could just barely see it before, but now when I outline it, really helps. Y'all see it really well too, so that's also really helpful. Connect that. Little stem here on the pumpkin. There goes that pickup truck line. All right, now we have another line happening here. Lots of pretty leaves. And all those leaves really kind of obscure the ending of the pickup truck there. A little bumper. I used to do this way before I ever started with filming, but then I think a lot of people were really getting confused on how to do this aspect of it. So I've started including it in the process. So it really helps you figure out where to place everything. There's my puppy dog. right, so there it is. It's all traced out. Magnificent. And that gives me a lot of freedom too. To, like when I paint on my background, then I can definitely see where I've been, and I can even overpaint a little bit and be very relaxed about it, not worry too much. Because my Sharpie will bleed through, and then I'll always see all my tracing work, so it really helps me out later on. All right, so here we go. I've got some paint all laid out, and I'm gonna go ahead and come in with the biggest brush that I've got, which is going to be my Mama brush. And so I'm gonna go ahead and start with a nice big dollop of the white, and then just a tiny little touch of some gold. And then also I'm just gonna barely touch into just a little tiny amount of black. So I'm gonna mix all that together. So that black and white, that tiny little amount of black and that big dollop of white gives me like a light gray. And then that little tiny amount, that pea-sized amount of the gold warms it up to almost like a taupe color. And then I also like to keep just a lot of just pure white nearby, and then that will help me kind of work into the stroke and give it some texture as I place it into the background. All right, hold on, fan time. Starting to warm up back here, so I have a little fan underneath here I turn on just to cool me off a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and push this on like a letter X, just back and forth, nice little cross stroke. And let's push into a little bit of some pure white now. Push that back and forth. See how fun that is? Becomes a lot more textural at that point. And then I just get real close to that line, but again, if I have a little bit of overpaint, and sometimes I'm kind of intentional about it, I don't worry too much about it because I know that that Sharpie will just bleed right through, and I'll be able to just touch back into the pickup truck later. So I'm not too worried about that. And remember to keep alternating back and forth between the white and the taupe. And we have this little window in here, so I've got that same color that just basically extends into this space. So again, a little bit of overpaint there. That Sharpie's gonna pop right through there, so I'm not worried about that. Looks a little scary at first, because sometimes you get really good coverage and you think, uh-oh, I lost my line, but it'll pop back out. Especially with a color that light. And I'm not being really heavy-handed, so it all works. All right, still doing that background color and just working into the bottom here. Crisscross, back and forth. So I kind of look over it a little bit more, then see where I might want a few more little white highlights. I think I'm good. Good, good, good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give my Mama brush a bath, and let's talk about how to do that really quick. So I have a little bucket of water nearby, and then I go ahead and push the brush into the water, apply a little bit of pressure, and twist it in a circle, and then that will help release that paint. And then I just kind of keep checking on it. When it starts to be clear and clean, then I just go ahead and then I dry mine off completely. And I get it to where it is just moist. So now it's all ready to go. All right, so that's ready to go for the next step. Now what I'm going to start working on is just color blocking into all of the shapes here. So I think what I may try this time, I have a red Trek, gosh, decision. So I can do either a red or a turquoise. You can do any color you want, but those are the two colors I'm debating on. And maybe I should just try, oh, I don't know. I'm having a hard time making up my mind. It is fall. I guess let's just do red. Yeah. You can do turquoise too if you want it, but all right, I'm gonna get some red loaded up here. And then I'm gonna give this a little bit of time. I'll tell you what, since I'm so antsy to do turquoise, I'm gonna go ahead and do like details of turquoise. So we've got a hat here that's turquoise, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so let's talk about turquoise a little bit. We have a dollop of the green, and then a dollop of the blue, and then a dollop of the white. So I'm gonna push all those together, and this will give me a really pretty turquoise color. So then I'm gonna go ahead and push this into little hat here. All right, so I'm gonna use this big brush to begin with. And I'll definitely have to switch over to a smaller one here in just a moment. But I try to use this as much as I can for long lines. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and fill into this hat. Real pretty little shade of turquoise there. And then for the girly hat here, I kind of want it to be a fall feeling, so I'm going to go ahead and do like a cream color. So I'm going to do a little bit of gold, a little bit of white, just push those together. Oh, I have a water run. So I have a little excess water in my brush. And if you're working in a vertical state, you'll get water runs. So you do have to be careful of that, apparently. And I did not dry off my brush very well. so I kind of deserve that. That happens. All right, so now I've got it to where it's just moist, no excess water in the belly of the brush. Now it's all good to go. So I'm gonna reload with some more paint here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and push into this lovely little hat design. Now, if you're working flat, you don't have to worry too much about water runs, but you do have to be thinking about excess water on your canvas and how that's much more translucent. Some people like the look of that, and then some people not so much. So it definitely has its strengths used in certain ways. So it can be really good for doing tiny little details, but not so great for trying to get a really nice opaque finish, because it obviously just makes it very clear. A lot more like a watercolor consistency. All right, so now let's do some gray. Beautiful gray. All right, so I've got some white nearby and just a little bit of this black. We'll do a light gray. Let's do a little bit more white. All right, so this is a cute little older couple. They're just precious. So I've got some little gray hair coming in for her little hair that comes down on the sides. Get those little flips in there. Now I'm using my little bit brush, and I just hold it more like a pencil to get much better control over the surface area. Now I'm going to come in with a little bit of a darker charcoal gray to help accentuate this a little bit. Kind of get a little bit of a softly blended outline happening in there. Now for his little beard here. So I'm going to cut in around that little nose. Again, still just using my little bit brush. Every now and again too, I like to kind of touch into the white, and that gives me a nice little highlight into that area. Cute. All right, so we've got the little hair done, the little gray hair. Okay, so now we've got pumpkins to do. Let's do those next. Okay, so we've got some orange. Let me tell you about orange. Orange can be very translucent, and so I need to add just a little bit of some gold to it to help give it a little bit more like more of an opaque finish over the top. Also, bright yellow worked into that is another pretty way to do that too. So I would recommend adding just a hint of another color, either the bright yellow. So it kind of depends on which direction you want to go. This gives you more of a burnt orange. That gives you more of a bright orange. But that'll definitely help it cover better. But orange on its own has a tendency to be very translucent. So that little mix right there helps quite a bit. And it leaves it still in a nice bright orange quality to it, because if you try to put white in there, white definitely helps it cover better. However, white will turn it to more of a peach color. So that can be a little problematic for you. There we go. Did a little too much of an overpaint there. Got it though. So again, a little bit of that primary yellow into the orange. And to get better coverage, you want to make sure and turn that handle more over to the side, just parallel to the canvas, and that will help you get better coverage over the surface area. Oh, we got another pumpkin right here. Almost forgot about him. All right, so again, orange and primary yellow. Really pretty look. Okay, so now I've got little stems that I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse out my little bit brush, and then I'm going to mix up like a gold and a little bit of some black and some white, but a darker shade of it. So here's my gold, a little bit of black. I'll make that kind of dark. Just a hint of white there. All right, so now let's do those little stems. So again, that was more of a bigger dollop of the biggest concentration of colors with my gold. And then I just barely touch into the black, and then barely touch into the white. Maybe again, maybe one more hit on the white. And then that lightens it up a little bit, and then I just go ahead and paint into that little stem there. All right, so we got pumpkin stems, we got pumpkins. It's beautiful, beautiful. Alrighty, so now, oh, you know what? I'm so silly. I forgot part of my pumpkin over here. Hold on. So sometimes this big filming light, man, I can't see. And then when I step away a little bit, I go, oops, I forgot a little section. I was wondering what that was. Thought, that can't be the pickup truck, but no, it was part of the pumpkin. All right, so now you turn that handle more to the side. And this will give me some good coverage over the top. All right, now let's do some flesh tone color, like a light peachy. All right, so let's go to this plate here. So I'm gonna do a little touch of white here and then a little touch of the red. I don't need that much. You could even just do a super light pink if you wanted to, but then I'm gonna touch into a little bit of that gold that was already there and see how it's just coming together for that flesh tone. I'm gonna whiten that up. They haven't been out in the sun very long, so they're very pale. They've been inside during the pandemic. They have no tan. All right, so here we go. Flesh tone. And then I'll just go ahead and paint into this little area here. And again. All right, cute. So we just have those little noses to do. And then I'm gonna give her, let's see, we're gonna give her a little blue top here. That'll be kind of fun. And I'm noticing that I left something out on my trace. That's what I get for doing this in a hurry this morning. But basically, she's got a little bit of her shirt that comes out here, so I'm just gonna paint it on. I'll fix the traceable later before I post it. I haven't posted it yet anyway, so let's see. We've got that little shirt that comes out here. And then we have a little arm that comes out. And then we've got a little mitten. All right, so let's see, I've got violet up there. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this in so that I don't lose the reference for it. All right, so let's do a little violet. And then a little bit of white. All right, so that was just violet and white. Pulls it a little bit just to a light violet, honestly. It's not really, I wouldn't call that lavender, but it is a little bit lighter than that really dark purple. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do a little mitten. Really need a smaller brush right now. I'm gonna switch to a smaller brush. Look at that guy, that's what I need right there. Because that other guy was a little squirrely on the ends. All right, so we have a cute little mitten here. Isn't that cute? All right. Oh well. We'll get those details in there one way or another. But I promise I will add that to the traceable because I'm not going to expect you to do hands all by yourself. So I'll get that done. All right, so, and I want him to have on a cute little shirt. We're just gonna flip-flop the colors. So we're gonna give him the gold shirt now. And then I'm gonna come back in with this little bit brush, a little touch of white with the gold. And so that little gold shirt comes just underneath that pumpkin right there. And then he comes down here to hold hands. Kind of looking at my little reference here. All right, so they got their hand holding done. It's very important. Keep holding hands always. All right, so here we go. We've got our little shirt now. And then I'll connect with some black lines later. And then he's up here waving. So we'll make one more arm come up here. Let's add a little touch of white to the gold to give it some good coverage. And then all right. And then he's got just a little black mitten. So I'm going to take that same little bit brush. I still have a little bit of gold on there, that's okay. The black will just overpower it. And then I'm going to make, basically it's going to look like an upside down U. And then there's this little thumb. And I'll finish doing all the outline later, but for right now, I'll go ahead and get that worked in. Okay, cute. All right, so now they have arms. It's very exciting. I'm just, nothing like armless gnomes. It's not right. They suffer enough, I'm pretty sure. They need to have arms. Okay, so let's do the pickup now. Here's what I was waiting on. I was waiting on a lot of this white to dry because that would really interfere with my red. It would turn it to a pink, so I needed to make sure that I had that a little bit more set up. So I think we're ready to go on that. All right, so I have some pretty big space to work into, so I'm going to go ahead and use my mama brush, bigger brush. And here's the cool thing about this red. So you can add just a teeny, very slight, but see how I'm going to barely dip into the black, super tiny amount. Push that through. And that just changes it ever so slightly. It's just a little bit, I don't know, it just not quite crimson, but it pushes it in that direction. More like maybe like a brick red. And so it's, one thing it does is it really helps it cover better on your canvas. Red also has a tendency to be a bit more translucent. So it helps with the coverage, but also I think it's a nice fall red. So it definitely has a nice fall quality to it. So I'm going to try to get into these big areas as much as I can. Which I'm going to run out of room pretty quickly. Yeah, I need to switch brushes. I thought I was going to be able to use this longer, but I just really love using big brushes as much as possible. They're easier, cover better, but it's just too big. So we need to go ahead and switch over to our little buddy here. So pulling into a lot of this red, I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, that was a bit much. I've got it all loaded up, nice dollop on one flat side. And I may have to kind of switch back and forth even between Little Buddy and also Little Bit, because just lots of tiny little areas to work into. So I want to be real careful, especially around that little mitten I just got through doing. All right, so notice what I'm doing here with my pinky. We've got detail work in here, so I kind of need to stabilize my hand. So what I do is I go ahead and rest the weight of my hand on my pinky. That helps stabilize it. And then that allows me to move more freely and do these tinier little detailed areas with a little bit more confidence. So it's very helpful because we definitely have some very small little areas to work into. So at first, the hold on this basically is very much like how you would hold a pencil. That just gives you a lot more control. And I do have a lot of brush strokes happening. I will come back in later with my little buddy and just kind of feather that out a little bit. But for right now, I'm just going to concentrate on getting all this detail work in here. See, and you can try to feather it out more with a little bit. It helps a little bit. I mean, you can do the best you can, but you're still going to see lots of little brush strokes happening because it's just such a small little brush. But it does help to kind of feather it out by turning the handle. Let me face this way. By turning the handle more on the side and kind of feathering that out, it helps a whole lot. Another little sweet detail in here. We're getting there. Progress. All right, now we still have red track happening in here. Really tiny in here. So another thing you'll have to do, this brush can get really full of paint and the bristles will kind of start to spread out on you, and that makes it really challenging to do small detailed areas. So what you'll have to continually do is when you come back into the paint to load up, give it a little twist into the paint, rotate it between your fingertips, and then that will twist it into a nice fine point. So that makes it super tiny. So that's helpful too. And thank you for the love that I just saw. I saw a little heart. Still pick up track, and then I'm gonna work behind these little leaves here. I'm avoiding this section here because that's going to be bumper. And then I've got, let's see, this is red in here. So again, getting that detail work, we'll definitely come back over this with a bigger brush to finish it off. And I want to darken that up a little bit. Let's see. A little bit darker in there. And then the little tires below, that will be just pure black. All right, so a little bit brush again. All right, now, gray and white, gray and white. All right, so here we go again. Little buddy brush, and let's get some of that bumper done. So it's gonna be a dollop of white, a little bit of black. Let's get that gray, like a medium shade of gray here. And I'm gonna go ahead and paint this into the bumper. And you can already see the difference in the quality of brush strokes. With the little buddy, it's much smoother. So we'll be coming back over the rest of that red here in just a moment. A little bit of setup time doesn't hurt on that. Let's come back in with a small brush. We have a little tiny area of gray in here. Okay, and then, oh yeah, so what's next? Here we go. Little buddy, and then we'll do some of this red. And let's do just a nice smooth coat over the top as much as we can. See, that's already looking better. Much better finish. And then, see, that was looking really streaky, lots of brush strokes, so now I come back over it. Just kind of lightly feather over the top with the flat side of the brush, so I hold that brush parallel to the canvas. So as much as you can, you just work it in here. Some of these areas will definitely just be too small. So you do the best you can with little buddy, and then like I'll just work in as much as I can here. All right, beautiful, cute little red truck. I have a little bit more to go in there. In fact, I gotta get in there with the small brush and get in and around their little shirt. All right, so little bit. Yay, so cute. Okay, let's do a little bit of some red right in there. Seeing all the little spots I kind of missed. I'm going to touch up the little balls on their hats, and then also kind of rework this little bit of hair here. Make that kind of pop out over the top. And see, we've got these real cute little balls on the end of their hats, which are super cute. So fill those in with some white paint. All right, now we have green leaves to do. All right, so I want these to be a little bit more fallish, so I'll do some green, some white, and then a little touch of the black. And then that will give me more of a sage color. So it's basically just a little bit of that gray mixed in with the green. So it's a nice fall color. And then each one of these little leaves, it's kind of like making a little parentheses and another little parentheses, and then those connect and you just fill it in. And then over here, and then we'll come in with some more black and really help make that pop and define that here in a moment. All right, and then I still have a little heart here in the center. So I think I'll do like a light cream on that. All right, so little buddy, and then we'll do some white and then just a touch of gold. Okay, so I've got my little bit brush. Now we're gonna go in and really make some details pop out over the top. So I'm rotating this into the black. And gosh, where to start? There's so many places. We're gonna do a lot of black outlines for a while, but this is really gonna be helpful because right now everything's still looking a little bit raw and unfinished. So when this comes in, it really helps. Now, I will give you a little tip for beginners. You can actually let all this set up and dry and then just come in afterwards and use a Sharpie, and that would make this process a lot easier. So if you're not really confident with all this fine line work with a little bit brush and black paint, Sharpie's a great tool. And again, little tips along the way. You'll have to reload a lot because it is so tiny, it runs out of paint, so you have to reload. But remember that little twist in between your fingertips to get it back to a nice fine point. So we have our little bumper here. And see, little objects that were getting a little bit lost are definitely being found again. That black outline really helps. And if you're trying to do something a little bit softer, you can always come in with something a bit more muted but still contrasting, like a lighter charcoal gray. It can also help define it but not be as dramatic as the black. So now we're making those little leaves pop out over the top. gotta kind of, I'm gonna lean back so I can see, kind of get out of that super intense bright light for a second and see what I'm doing. So again, just still doing lots of little details with our black. See, as I do the beard, I feather it in just a little bit. So it's like little tiny diagonal strokes coming down on the side. And when I come around the pumpkin, I'm going to try to be a little bit more delicate this time. Really tiny little lines. Even if it dry brushes a little bit, that's okay. Yeah, this is why I'm a big fan of that finishing touch of a black line, because boy, it makes all those little shapes come right out at you. Hello, Deborah from West Virginia. Yay! Thanks for joining us. And yes, this is going to be a fun one. Lots of details. Cute little gnomes. See, and that's that cute little ball on top of the hat. Little pumpkin stem here. And then little outlines around the pumpkin. All right, so I have to make sure, well, it'll definitely stick out to me later, if I need any more black outlines. I'm not sure I'm going to do the noses. I think I like those to be a little bit not so boom, right out at you. So I'm going to leave those alone, not do a harsh black line around those. I do want to do some Little white accents on the bumper here. So that's really a fun look. All right, and then I'm wanting a little accent on that heart. So I think I'm gonna come in with just a touch of turquoise. I was painting, LOL. That's good. Yeah. Hey, that makes sense, doesn't it? That's a good excuse to not make it in time. Way to go. All right, so a little touch of this turquoise in here. Again, this is just a little bit more of that turquoise, just a kind of an unexpected little accent. And then a little bit more. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of a gold accent over the top of his hat. Make sure that brush is nice and dry, just moist. Don't want any water runs, especially after all this work we just got through doing. So that would not be fun. All right, beautiful. You know what, now that I look at it, I'm gonna do just a few more touches of gold on the leaves. And a little accent on the tires. I think we're done. It's very exciting. All right, so beautiful, beautiful. This is lovely. And yeah, so all I have left to do is sign it. I forgot about the time when I painted. Yes, that happens a lot. That's a good excuse and always allowed to get lost in painting. Yeah. So way to go. I actually commend you for that. Well, so okay, I think we're done. And I wasn't going to be painting with you tomorrow because I thought I was going to be gone, but I think I'll actually be here, so I'll probably do some spontaneous lives tomorrow, so I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. And I just want y'all to have a beautiful, beautiful day. Praying for everybody out there, lots of hope, love, and abundance, tons of blessings, and I will see you soon. Kisses.